Everything all set up behind the scenes, and then I'm going to drop this screen as soon as I'm done with the behind the scenes setup. It'll just be just a second. Yeah, here we go now, sitting in a chair just like old times, dropping the screen. How we made it. Boy, my desk is a mess behind me, my hat's all crooked. Looks like I've been in a fight. All right, let's turn down this volume. Okay, volume coming down. Great. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to I Will Answer Questions of Any Kind. My wife pointed out that I have several question-themed shows. I have I Will Answer Questions of Any Kind, where people can ask questions of any kind. By the way, if you're out there watching this live, you can ask a question of any kind, and I will answer it. I am going to start answering the question, what's it like performing online? Because before the pandemic, I was out performing not online, but now I perform online all the time instead. And then second after that, I will also answer questions that you have of any kind. I'm trying to start connecting with the camera up here. There's a little light that I should be looking at when I'm talking to you. I don't do it all the time, but I'm learning. I'm learning my lesson. Anyway, so what's it like performing online? Well, it's different for different projects. I have a couple of different projects that I do. One project is this, and this is an only online thing. I actually kind of like it because I've set it up so basically it doesn't take me a bunch of time to do it, so I can do it daily. So if I can just set aside 20 minutes every day to just get on and just talk to people, great. So this one online is fine. My podcast, which is called Six Unseemly Questions, which is another question-related project. I like interviewing people, so that's why I do question-related projects. Anyway, so Six Unseemly Questions, which is my podcast, you can check it out at unseemlyquestions.com. You know what? Wouldn't it be cool maybe if I played I'll play a trailer for my podcast so you can actually see what it is. Hold on a second. Let me get this screen ready over here. But doing the podcast online is actually pretty cool. I'll tell you why. Number one is because my podcast guests, it's easier for them to be guests because when you do a podcast online, you can have all of your buddies coming around from wherever. So let me see. Six Unseemly Questions. And sorry that you have to see me do this typing. But yeah, so I like the fact that I can just have people from anywhere come and be on the podcast. That is pretty dope. Okay, so I'm gonna play this trailer for you so you can see exactly what my podcast is, but I have to first share the audio from Chrome. Here we go. Where's the audio in Chrome? Here, and boom, there it is. Okay, so you guys are going to be able to hear this right now. So this is what my podcast is, Six Unseemly Questions. If you like podcasts, then you would like this podcast, I'm pretty sure. Here it is. This is what Six Unseemly Questions is. I actually made this trailer because I had enough people were asking me to explain what my podcast was because it's like my podcast is a game show. And so enough people asked me, really, Victor, what is your podcast? And so now I'm going to actually show you what it is. I also have to get rid of this music in the background. There we go. Now that the music's gone, can I switch back to my podcast? This is really hard to do because I don't know if you know this, but on a Mac sometimes it'll like move your screen over. Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay, it's back. Let's do it. This is my podcast, everybody, and then I will talk about what it's like doing it online rather than live. You'll see clips of live right now.
It's a comedy podcast game show.
I'm your host, Victor Vernado. This is my sidekick, Dave Rosinski.
You are that bad word.
You're a sidekick, Dave.
Yeah,
Dave,
I am.
I asked you to do the intro. Never done it right once.
Six Unseemly Questions!
Here's how the show works. I'm going to ask you 6 unseemly questions.
What's the grossest thing about you?
Oh, there's so many.
Who's better, black people or white people?
Oh, obviously black people.
Are you handsome?
Yes, I think I'm handsome.
I will ring a bell if I like your answer, like this.
Ah!
1 bell.
If I like your appearance on the show, I will give you $5 whole.
And you get $5.
That's a real life.
This $5 is not for you.
I don't even understand how this game works anymore.
Clean family fun, for the most part.
I didn't kill him.
Are you sure you didn't?
Go to unseemlyquestions.com.
All right. There you have it, everybody. Let's cancel the playback of anything else. But that's how the podcast works. It's a game show. I give people $5 if I like their appearance on the show, and then if I do not like their appearance on the show, I don't give them $5. I also ring a bell if I like their answers. I actually do like it now that it is online only. I mean, in person is more fun, but online is fine because I can get guests from all over the place. There is one thing. Stand-up in general is terrible online, by the way. It's just terrible. Stand-up is gross online. It's very hard. I mean, people do it, and people are still funny. I especially think that storytellers can be super funny online, but stand-up in general is having a hard time online. And I have stand-up performing on my show all the time, NYC Talent Show. So I used to do this talent show. It's called NYC Talent Show, and it was basically an open stage, a performance on open stage where anybody can go on stage and just do anything they want. It's actually fun online because now, again, the performers can come from all over the world. So like anybody all over the world can perform. That's pretty awesome. Number 2, one of the things that's great about it is that people are using technology to do their live performances online. So, for instance, we had like more than one cartoon character perform live on the show, which is great, and we were able to like chit chat with them and interact, and that's pretty amazing. We had someone using. I'm sorry, I burped. Nice. We had someone using a Snapchat filter to do a live potato. They were performing as a potato, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome that people can do that online. It looks like we do have a question. Let's check on it and see what it is. By the way, again, if you're out there watching this live, ask any question that you want to. That's totally fine. Hey, Victor, congrats on your continued success. Well, that isn't a question at all, but thanks, Chuck. That's very nice of you. And yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I mean, this is actually interesting. A lot of my contemporaries, people who I consider my contemporaries as comedians, are much bigger than I am. Like, we may have started out together, but then they like rose pretty fast because, well, one main thing is they were willing to do like the grind part of stand-up, and I wasn't. I mean, I'm a funny guy. I feel comfortable saying that I'm a funny guy. If you have a problem with it, please leave a comment. But I am a funny guy, but I hate the grind of comedy. Now, I love other kinds of grinds. I love writing. I love that grind. I love filmmaking, editing, all that stuff. I love those grinds. I like cartooning because cartooning can be a grind. I love all those grinds. But traveling for stand-up, I do not like that grind. And I like traveling and doing stand-up. Like when I perform in theaters or great spaces, and they treat me very, very well, I really enjoy it. However, when I have to do stand-up in like dingy, dirty clubs, because everybody has to do that. Everybody has to do like terrible, everybody has to do like terrible rooms and then stay in a nasty hotel. That's the part of the grind of stand-up that I absolutely hate. I also absolutely hate the part of stand-up where you have to go to clubs and like hang out and like do this like interaction, weird sort of like who's gonna be on top pecking order thing. I don't like that part of stand up either. Not all the time. On occasion I do. On occasion I love to hang out and just like shoot the shit and talk shit with other comics. But just in general, I don't like the grind of the club, and I also don't like the grind of the road. So, it is what it is, my friends. Chuck, one more time. My question would be, how do you suggest a comedian actor utilize the internet during quarantine to get representation? Ooh, interesting. Well, I would say, number one, you don't necessarily need representation. If you can make a splash on the internet and people can see that you are creating your own following, then you're good. Like you're like when you walk into a network or something like that, if you've got like a following, then you've got all the power in that situation, and that's all you really need. So I would say that right now you should really work on doing something that you can put out there constantly. And you have to use the internet. I'm going to say this 1,000 times. I'm quoting somebody else. I think it was this guy named Gary Vee, who is like an entrepreneurial advisor, consultant, guru sort of person. And I like a lot of what he says. I don't like everything he says. I don't think I like everything anybody says. I mean, who does? But one thing that he said that drove it home, if you're a comedian, all right, and you're not using social media, or you're an entertainer, or you're in any business and you're not using social media to really like put your name out there, it's a problem. It's a problem being that if you were to name the most famous chef or the highest paid chef, it would probably be the most famous chef. A lot of people say like Gordon Ramsay is the like highest paid chef. But do you think Gordon Ramsay is the best chef in the world? Probably not. It's just the name that you know. And so it's a name that everybody knows. And so at some point when people are thinking of chefs, they always call on Gordon Ramsay. And that's why he's the highest paid chef in the world. So it's part of what you should be doing is to get your name out there. And I will say this, it sucks sometimes, and it is another kind of grind. It's a grind. Like the internet is a grind. I don't even know that I'm doing it right at all. All I'm doing right now is I basically created an easy format so that I can just talk to people every day. And I'm also like doing my other projects, but I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I mean, who knows? The whole entirety of entertainment is based on people not completely know what they're doing, but kind of winging it. Like everybody's winging it. Everybody's winging it. Nobody knows for sure what should be next. That's why so many movies are flops, because nobody knows for sure. People are winging it. Like even people who you look at and you say like almost every movie that they make is fantastic, it's still only almost. They make crappy movies too. Everybody does. I mean, look at I love Christopher Nolan, but he doesn't make everything that he makes isn't perfect. Chuck, what did you say? Dude, I try to do it, but my wife and 3 kids and full-time job gets in the way. Right, I totally get that, but there's ways to do it. I mean, honestly, like I developed a way that I can work on, or I developed a way that I can like in 10 minutes a day make sure that I always have like tweets and Instagram stuff always going out, and I just take 10 minutes a day to do that. Or I mean, this is for instance, like this is something that I just sit down and do for 20 minutes and then I'm done and it's live. And basically I'm using the software which does all the editing live, so I don't really have to edit it. I mean, these aren't the best videos in the world, but there's something to be said that every day there's a video online that I release where I'm just like doing my thing. So there's a way around it. And I get it. You have a wife and kids, but if you can set aside 10 minutes a day or say 1 hour a week, 1 hour a week to set up everything and then have it automatically be doled out during the week, then you respond when people comment on things that you prepared earlier. That's a way to do it too. How did you get the jobs of pitching to shows and working for networks? That's a huge question. The easiest way I can answer it is everything started because I made stuff on my own first. Like, I started by just making stuff and I wasn't good, but I was just doing stuff. And the only way that I could tell if something was good was I would compare it to things that I knew were good. And I was like, what's the difference? Is it my camera angle? Is it my editing? Like, I would just slowly figure things out. And also I would do every tutorial online and I would learn how to do stuff with tutorials. I don't mind saying that, like, one of my first short films that I ever made where I was like, okay, this is a short film and it's not great. It's okay. It's old. It's centered around an answering machine, to tell you how old that short film was. But I made it for under $50 and I ended up being able to license it to Comedy Central for $10,000. I actually didn't know they were going to pay me $10,000. I just remember they were looking for short films. I showed them my short film. They liked it. And then when it came back how much they're paying me, I was like, what? So, but I was super happy at the time. That was like my first big thing that I ever did. Great advice. Thanks. Well, you're welcome, Chuck. Anytime I can give you advice, you just let me know on the broadcast. I mean, don't show up unannounced. That'd be too much. Well, if anybody else has a question, please let me know. But if nobody else has a question, I'm going to wind down here because I still have more to do today. It's been a long day. I have writing to do. I had meetings about websites that we're trying to figure out. I have a press release that needs to come out tomorrow. And also there's an article that's going to be written about one of my projects that I need to get ready for that too. There's just a lot to do. It's going to be a thick week. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. God bless us, one and all. By the way, if you're out there and you feel like it, please follow me on stuff. It's something about follow me on Twitter. Just search for Victor Varnado. I am Victor Varnado. I'm on all social media. Be my friend. Message me. I will message you back because I think that's how you're supposed to do it. Well, now that we are done, I am going to call it a day. Bye, everybody.